Tip number 146 from the book 501 Contractor Tips. Fiscal company goals. What is it? Plain and simple. You set goals that you want your business to achieve. And whatever those goals are, need to be written down and actually have a plan behind them. Something that you can actually take action or use to use as a game strategy plan kind of a thing, a blueprint. Probably be better for contractors to understand. It's going to be difficult to build a house without a set of blueprints. It's not impossible, but it's going to be difficult. If you have a set of plans and you've examined these plans and you've looked at every possible problem and you've tried to eliminate as much of the problems as you've found, you're going to have a better chance of creating a project, building a project in a faster time, more efficiently, and with less waste. And this is kind of the same thing that goes with these fiscal goals I'm referring to. If you just write a number down, hey, I'd like to increase the profits of my business by 15% on average year after year for the next 5 years, and then I'm gonna change my goals or adjust them. I'm not going to change them 100%, but I'm going to make a little bit of adjustments. 15% to a certain point might become unreasonable. You might have to lower your goal to 10%. You might find another way to double it, whatever that's going to be. But without a plan, without some reasons why, and maybe a small list of objectives. The first year I'd like to acquire these tools. The second year I'd like to acquire a forklift, whatever it is. Without that, and good reasons why. You just don't put something into action, hey, I need a computer, but you're not going to get any software. This isn't going to put you where you need to be. It's like buying a saw without the right saw blade, You're going to be fighting a lot of obstacles along the way, just doing what other people do without understanding why. So this is where the plan comes in. Create a plan that makes sense. Create a plan. I know this is going to seem hard to believe for some of you contractors out there, but create a plan within reason. If you've been in the construction business for 2 years, and the first year you made $80,000, and the second year you made $90,000, this doesn't mean that you're going to make $100,000 the next year. But if you create a plan and you understand how you added the other $10,000 from the previous year, then you're going to have a better chance of increasing your profits in the next year. And this could just be as simply as raising your wages, charging a little more, instead of charging 10% for profit, you raise it to 12.5%. Or 12%, something like that. It could be as simple as that, as your plan. But, and here's the tough part, if your plans aren't working and you have a deep desire, you're passionate about reaching these financial goals, you will need to adjust them along the way. You will need to make adjustments. It's like driving somewhere. If you're driving from point A to point B, and you don't have a spare tire, you're taking a chance. If the spare tire doesn't pop, doesn't break, that's fine. If it does, you're going to need to shift gears to go in another direction to keep yourself going in that direction and not in another direction would be better. Someone who has the car, they have a spare tire, and they're prepared. If the tire breaks, they know how to change it. Because there's a lot of obstacles along the way, and I'm using this spare tire thing because it's kind of something that happens to a lot of people. They get a spare they have a spare, but they don't know how to change it. They know how to change the tire, but they don't have the spare. They thought they had a spare, but the spare is flat. These are the things we've got to be able to plan for. And those people who are prepared, you've checked the tire, it's got air in it, it's fine, you know how to change the tire, you know exactly where to pull off the road to change the tire. If it's raining or severe weather conditions, you know that, you know what, I'm just going to drive till I get to a cool spot or a dry spot. These are things that you understand. The more, if it's happened to you a little more than somebody else, you know, if you've had to change 15 tires in, 10 different scenarios, you're going to be more prepared for the next one. And that's what I'm kind of referring to with the business plan. You know, if you create a plan and you think it's pretty good, it sounds good, and you've looked at it, and then you have a problem with it, you've got to be prepared to alter this plan, make the necessary adjustments, and keep moving forward, or cover as many bases as you possibly can in your plan, in these fiscal goals. Hey, by March 1st, if I'm not making 10%, you know, if it's below 10%, I need to do this and be prepared for this. But just don't create a plan and say, hey, I want to make 15% a year, and just kind of say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to accomplish it. The more planning you have, the more that you have planned for problems. It's just like reading a set of plans, you know. Hey, I'm going to have a beam in the way. The plumbing pipe is not going to go through this structural beam. We can't do it. How are we going to get around this? It's the same thing with a business plan. So take some time, set a goal, reasonable goal, and then try to create a plan of action along the same lines as you would with a set of building blueprints. You know, if you're going to climb a ladder, you're going to have to take each step. And if one of those steps is missing or two of those steps is missing, then you're going to have a problem getting to the fourth or the fifth step kind of a thing. So be prepared to change your plan. I don't care how good it is, and try to create the best plan you possibly can with as many possible scenarios as you think you might run into. Solve the problems now so you won't have to solve them later. And you're going to be moving along the course to making more money a little bit faster, the same way you would as if someone is prepared for every scenario they're going to run into dealing with a flat tire.